When discussing a video game, one of the first aspects often brought up are its graphics and visual fidelity. That phrase has a broader meaning than most might anticipate, although that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'd like to have a short discussion on a lesser mentioned area, audio, and more specifically how the player can interact with audio. Sure, you can smash the escape button and scan for the options or settings button. Somewhere in there is often a sliding scale or some form of variable value for changing certain aspects of the game's sound to levels that you prefer. But what about the sounds that aren't changed? A large grievance I've had with games recently is audio. I got a new headset at Christmas, and ever since I've had to adjust every game I play as to not be extraordinarily loud. Even the game settings are often far louder than I would usually prefer. So my first trip is to the audio menu, fiddle with the settings a little bit, and poof, often a great game experience awaits. Except occasionally some games hide sounds in the files, sounds that aren't bound to any slider or subcategory in the game's menu. As a result, these admittedly infrequent occurrences are startling and unwelcomed. Two games come to mind as an example of this effect: Hollow Knight and Darksiders 2. In Hollow Knight, the sounds are generally balanced by skittering creatures, gorgeous music, and the occasional bad damage. But in a few select areas, there are glass jars that, when destroyed, emit an ear-shattering noise. A startle, to be sure. The example in Darksiders is a little less forgiving. Here's a live clip from my Twitch VOD. Check me out on Twitch, by the way.
Maker's beard. The rumours are true. A horseman in the Forge lands. The name's Alia, and that's my brother Valis. We are the keepers of this forge, though I reckon that means less now than once it did.
This is a Maker's Forge?
Nay, the Maker's Forge is lost to us, silenced by the hands of corruption. But in its depths we once crafted the dark towers, but in its depths...
Oh, okay, this is where we gotta... Come on, pretty please. Let me do this. I saw it for a second. That's not it. Please, It's not gonna get me what I want. That's quite unfortunate. What is another word I can use? How can I close this on Task Manager so that I can open it again properly? Because that's how I fix Steam all the time. Steam will be open, but it won't be open, and so it'll be like, oh hey, you gotta open it so you can open it. I'll be like, I don't know what the hell you mean by that, but let me close it so I can open it. And they're like, yeah, sure, that works too. I might just come up with a fix in game. This is my dog's thing. I can't even go into options right now. What? Oh, chat, I'm so sorry. We're gonna put up with this, okay? You and me, we're going through this together.
But in its depths we once crafted the dark towers of hell and the cities of heaven.
Now you make trinkets?
And you, one of the four.
Now she's normal. This is a huge issue I have with games, and this happens more often than you might think. Sounds that are not immediately tied to a sound slider in game. If they're based off something else, like your base audio levels of your computer, get rid of them. Don't bother, right? Straight up, always tie your sounds to a slider in game. Otherwise, it'll absolutely skew with the rest of the sound levels. 'Cause like, I have my computer volume at 50%, but every program I run, I'll usually knock down to 10%. Right? This one I wasn't able to knock down. It's stuck at 50% with the rest of my base volume. But yeah, I lowered all of the in-game volumes down to the very bare minimum, generally. And yet somehow that one scene was absolutely horrendously louder than the rest. Please just tie it to a sliding bar in-game. That's all I ask. It stops me from blowing out my earbuds.
And you, one of the four, now seek the aid of the Makers?
So often people bring up how they want to be immersed in their games and delve into these worlds. For me, this is something that ruins that immersion, that creates a sense of tension and hyper-awareness every time from here on out when I shatter a jar or reach a cutscene, and that's just not right. Thanks for watching. I'm Cynic Blaze, and I'll see you next time.